Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to Canada's most amazing mega mansions. Now I'm sure every country in the world has some incredible architecture, but I want to see what Canada has to offer.
Chelster Hall, a magnificent 44,000 square foot English country mansion set on 10 acres of gardens, directly on Lake Ontario and within reach of Toronto. The mega mansion has already received a ton of media attention since it went on the market last year for an asking price of $65 million. The enormous lakeside mansion has a media room, library, billiards room, wine cellar, indoor pool, gym, sauna, and tennis court.
I would certainly hope so. Given the size of that building, if you couldn't fit every room that everyone could possibly imagine in that building, I'd go, what are you doing with all that space? I do want to know, when was this made? So early 2020. I wonder if this house is still on the market, because so many of these super high-end places, it's not surprising that they stay on for a while because they're trying to find the right person that'll even pay $65 million. But at the same time, surely there is someone out there that wants that place, but more so wants just what it comes with. Look at that massive amount of land, let alone the lake right there.
Completed in 2006, following 5 years of planning and construction, the estate is evocative of the great country houses of England. Built to look 100 years old, with its classic timeless architecture.
Wait, have I just missed something? Did they just say it's new? If they did, that took way too long to click. I'm gonna have to listen to that again.
Completed in 2006, following 5 years of planning and construction, the estate is evocative of the great country houses of England.
That's insane.
Built to look 100 years old, with its classic timeless architecture. Chelster Hall will never age.
Yeah. Well, I guess it can't age because it's already aged. That's insane. The land alone, like you can see the other houses surrounding them, and they are big places, and then they're completely dwarfed by this guy. You know, you come back to here and you see these ones, you got these probably 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom, basement, double garage houses with big driveways, a pool for goodness sake, and then you just have this one that is completely dominating. It looks like Central Park or something. And hang on, I've only just realized that the front of it isn't the front of the place. It also extends with a massive long driveway, and it's wider than just that grass because you got the tennis court over here. Because from this angle, there is no way you can see that the driveway just goes all the way somewhere into, I don't know, maybe where that cloud is or shadow is, whatever it is. And then, like I said, meanwhile, you're just going off into the left as well. I mean, I can only imagine you don't go off into the right and own all those houses and the road. That's your limiting factor there. But as it says, there really is not too many limits. When you have that much land, you can easily land a helicopter there. What are you talking about? You could probably store about 50 helicopters on that piece of grass. For goodness sake, they built a private chapel there as well for some reason. I mean, I guess you're going era and you're going with the time period, but really, as well, I can understand the 2 swimming pools and the billiards room and everything else, the library. It all makes sense for a house that size and of the time period, but a private chapel to go with it, surely that is just kind of overcompensating and overcapitalizing on the entire place. I mean, I guess a place like this doesn't really know what overcapitalizing is, and so I'd like to know. They said it took 5 years to plan, but who was planning to build it and why? Because it takes a certain type of person to go, no, I'm not going to develop this into a 40-story building. I'm also not going to develop it into a modern mega mansion. I'm going to go back to the 1900s or even earlier, probably. Yeah, it would be earlier because they said British, so they could be more like 1700s. And so to go back that far in time ago, let's just do that. But today, I'd certainly hope that they've got a few of the niceties of modern technology, but like I said, it takes a certain type of person to build that. And then I just want to try and find, where is this place? I found out that it was in Oakville, and I should be able to very easily find it. I could probably zoom out a little bit and find it. Surely it has to be somewhere along here. Here it is. There's no mistaking it. I just want to do a little bit of a measure distance. How big is it? 350 meters long. They kept saying everything in Texas centimeters, so let me just do some measurements here. Here we go. What is it? 32,000 square meters, and I haven't even included all of this stuff. Here we go. Let me just include the tennis court. I don't know where it goes to. Maybe something like this. I don't know. It's a bit hard to tell, but there we go. 35,500 square meters. That is a lot of land. And I guess the only other question I have is, what are its kind of specs in terms of how many baths, how many beds, how many cars? That's what I want to know for these places, because I can see on the left here, it looks like a nice big sweeping driveway that takes you to an underground car park, which makes sense. It's fair enough. But really, how many can you store under there? Could you store, I don't know, $400 million worth of cars under there? Probably.
Dalton Place Mansion. Amazing palatial gated mansion, surrounded with beautiful gardens. This dramatic gated mansion on private prestigious Dalton Place features approximately 18,000 square feet of living space, with 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, 2-story foyer with grand double staircase, formal living and dining rooms, 2-story great room, 2 gourmet kitchens, breakfast room, family room,
No.
wet bar, gym,
Wet bar?
home theater, indoor swimming pool with spa, 5-car garage, and more.
Yeah, fair enough. Look at this place. It's so ugly. I know that all of this is kind of time period stuff, but it's incredibly detailed and designed. I can respect that, but I would never ever live in a place like this. It is so, it's not for me. That's the only thing I can say, I guess. As look at what we are looking at here, it is so busy. I mean, at least there's some kind of a colored neutral palette going on here. It's not like 70s random colors or 80s or 60s or anything like that. No, it's definitely well before that. But look at these couches and the furnishings. You know, there's nothing efficient and comfy in this entire house. Like, you're not allowed to touch a single thing. It is a museum you are living in, not a house. And why the hell do you need 2 staircases? I mean, I can appreciate the symmetry. That's the only thing it does for me. But unless they're only like kind of one person wide and you're going, okay, we're going to have to be waiting, and so we make the left one the up one and the right one the down one, then that would make sense. But no one's ever going to follow that. If you're coming from the left, you're going to go down the left. If you're coming from the right, you're going to go down the right, unless otherwise you want to cross over. But there really is no point to having such a thing. It is so over the top. I hate it in that regard. A double-story bedroom. Look at it. Like I said, it's so bland. It's a castle. Ugh. No, just not for me, that's for sure. And I am fairly sure they said it was called Dalton House, which I thought I'd heard of before, and that's because Australia also has a Dalton House, but it doesn't really look like that. I wouldn't say it looks too dissimilar, and it's a little bit newer, probably, I guess. But as we can see here, I'm fairly sure it's this building. Where are we? Yeah, I'm fairly sure it's this building. This is also Dalton House in the city CBD. I mean, there is a couple of them over here, and they also have some pretty good views, but really, what is with Dalton houses? We can see that they're just super lavish, over-the-top things. I mean, honestly, these aren't as over top of the house that we just saw, but my goodness, it's not that far off. And honestly, if I had to live in either Sydney's Dalton House or this one, I'm absolutely taking Sydney's one, because that is just completely against all of my taste in architecture. No, thank you.
Stoneridge Hall, a classic early Georgian style architecture home,
Where's
located
the
in
new
a
ones?
storybook setting on the Niagara encampment.
Wow.
Stoneridge Hall offers a magnificent, uninterrupted panoramic vista
Oh, yeah.
of the most beautiful farmland and cityscape views of Toronto in the distance.
Wow.
The luxurious property features
Acreage.
topiary gardens, fountains, a lavish swimming pool, and ponds on a manicured 86-acre dream property.
86 acres. I can definitely see it, because my goodness, that is just a lot of land. I mean, I can't see the fences, but I can only assume everywhere that looks manicured belongs to that house. And honestly, it's hard to get a sense of scale, because that castle of a house is so massive. If you put a normal house there, you go, wow, that's kind of an entire suburb. And what I never understand with these places is, what do they do with all that land? Because it's not like they're having any kind of cattle or anything on this. It's too manicured for that. They're certainly not riding dirt bikes around, using all these hills, doing anything like that. So what do they do? Is it just for viewing? I can appreciate a view, but really, to live in a view? I don't know if that's what you really want. I certainly don't want to be on the ride-on lawnmower, let alone the push cart, for, I don't know, hours and hours and hours every day, and by the time you just finish on the left, you have to go back to the right to remow it. And so before I even get to see the inside of the house, I just don't understand the entire situation here. I wish they would also show some new mega mansions.
Of the most beautiful farmland and cityscape views of Toronto in the distance.
I can appreciate that. It's nice. Not for me though.
The luxurious property features topiary gardens, fountains, a lavish swimming pool, and ponds on a manicured 86-acre dream property.
That's manicured, alright.
The architecture of Stoneridge Hall is one of simplicity and elegant lines, designed in the classic Doric order.
This one's a little bit
The house
nicer.
itself is comprised of a main section, with links to east and west wings, all with superb light and views.
I'd hope so. How much? Look at that double staircase to the pool, of course. Oh, that's insane. Triple car garage. Honestly, I'm surprised it doesn't have more than leads you underneath, especially considering it looks like they built up an entire kind of bridge walkway access that goes down to the pool. I would love to see inside this house or have a full tour, because this thing looks pretty insane. And out of all the ones that we've seen so far, this one is definitely the most livable for me. Look, it's not too over the top. It's fairly clean. It's done in a more classic style, but it's not like 700s classic in terms of they've ditched all just the over the top stuff. You know, there's no big chandelier hanging in the middle here. No, it's just down sound lighting. No need for all the other extravagant stuff. Nah, get it out of here. Look, you know, this is fairly busy. There's a few older things, but I can appreciate the kind of design of this, the raised or the drop ceiling, whatever you want to call it. I guess overall it would be ornate, but not over the top, if that makes sense. Stoneridge Hall, Canada. I'm not seeing anything. That kind of looks like the land surrounding it. Oh no, it's too blocky. I can't see any kind of flowing green hills around here. I mean, zooming out, we do have Toronto right there, and they did say stunning views of Toronto in the distance, and so it must be around here somewhere. I'm not having any luck finding this thing. I'm doing a little bit of a scour around, but everywhere just looks too blocky, or not having these little lakes, or I don't see a big fat building in the middle of a whole green pasture or anything like that. I'm just seeing a lot of kind of farmlandy stuff, or the middle of an entire city. And I really want to know who owns these places.
Chateau Fleur de Lis. This 6-year-old chateau-style home in Mont-Tremblant is up for sale for $22 million.
Is that it? Okay.
Inspired by Quebec City's famous Chateau Frontenac, Chateau Fleur de Lis, owned by Canadian hockey legend Mario Lemieux.
Wow, okay.
Located on the flank of the world-renowned Mont-Tremblant and was built in 2012. The 17,000 square foot mansion includes 17 fireplaces. The home sits on a large 5-acre estate within a close proximity to Mont-Tremblant Ski Resort.
Yeah. Look at this place. I want to know. Oh, that's how they've done that pool. Triple garage, fair enough. Look at that driveway. Tennis court, all the usual things, you know, but look at that. It definitely fits on that hillside. And maybe that's the difference, because the other ones, like the previous one, it was kind of a building in the middle of nowhere. Yes, you had a whole bundle of land surrounding you and it was all yours. And I can't tell, based on the fact that it's not cleared, how much land this actual house has. But really, I can see that they've put thought into how it's going to fit in relation to the hill and the kind of views that you're going to get looking over, I can only assume, the lake, or maybe it's actually in the east. So I don't actually know what that entire gulf is. Not the east, the west. You know, I'm wondering if it's up in here, or is it actually over on the lakes? I have no idea, because maybe he said it. Here we go. I just had to go back and listen to it again to know exactly what it was talking about. So there we go. That's the ski resort showing all the routes. Okay, interesting. I wonder if I'd be able to find this place. Is it big enough on maps to find? Because he said it wasn't too far away from this, but I doubt I'd be able to find it. I mean, maybe it's that one. No, it's not that one. Here it is. It wasn't even that hard to find. It took me all of 20 seconds. My goodness, there we go. I can definitely recognize that driveway, if nothing else. I thought it was being a little bit closer to the lake. Wait, is it a lake? Yeah, it's a lake. Lake Tremblant, okay. And that is definitely close to that ski resort. My goodness, it's very green. I don't know how much skiing I would want to be doing there. Wow, I've never actually seen what it looks like without snow. That is crazy. You can absolutely see every single cleared path. Huh. Interesting, the more you learn. But yeah, here we go. This house right here. I mean, yeah, how big is it across? Let's do some measure distance. I missed a little bit. It is 80 meters across. I mean, that's including that bit. So that's 55 meters. That is a big, big place. I mean, they have all been big places, and this is the first time I've measured it. But yeah, it gives you a proper sense of scale. I guess that's a tennis court. So yeah, that is a big house. But sadly, they didn't really show the inside of it, did they? I guess they said that it had 17 fireplaces, and you could probably count all the chimneys. And look, considering it is right next to a ski resort, it is absolutely going to snow up here, and so I can understand why it has the fireplaces. I hope it also has some modern elements like, I don't know, underfloor heating or something like that, hydronic heating, whatever you want to be doing. Because as much as a fireplace gives off a lot of heat and it can be cool to look at, really having 17 of them, that is so much running around, so much wood that you have to handle. I'm not chopping that much wood, not for 17 different fireplaces to heat. Massive mega mansion. I mean, I guess, yes, you do have trees right here, but you don't want to be clearing them and just making your land grow and just, I guess, get rid of the nature surrounding you. That's the whole point why you went there in the first place, I can only imagine. And now I am wondering, is there kind of a main house and an entire guest house, or is that the garage with something on top of it? I guess it is the garage, but what is on top of it? And that is actually what I wanted to search or wanted to look at. That pool is pretty insane how they've managed to do it, kind of an infinity pool, or like a meniscus pool almost. Yeah, look at that. I love how that pool has been done. Obviously, it's kind of like a public swimming pool in terms of usually the water just flows over the edge and that's how they get everything skimmed and just circulated. But this is such a fine line and it doesn't go under the tile. It is flush with the tile, and so hopefully you can't get too many things caught on that and you can get things back, but I love the effect it gives. It looks like it's just floating there. That's awesome. I mean, I don't know what you do in terms of when it rains or when it snows and that fills up with water and how you cover that or clean that. I have no idea in that regard, but visually it looks stunning. And so I guess that just gives me another reason to like hockey players. Wait, who do they say it was owned by? And I'll search them up.
Is up for sale for $22 million.
And it's pretty cheap in comparison to the others.
Inspired by Quebec City's famous Chateau Frontenac, Chateau Fleur de Lis, owned by Canadian hockey legend Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux, alrighty then. But here we go, this fella right here owns this place, and honestly, if I had $65 million, or at least the option between the first one and this one being a third of the price of the first one, I would absolutely take that one over the first one. That is way, way, way better, even though I haven't seen the inside. But look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm just going to go with the fact that he knows what he's doing if he's purchased or either built a place like that on that hill. But hey, all of these places were definitely mansions, even though I am a little bit disappointed that there wasn't any modern mansions. They were all generally, even though this is a modernly built mansion, it wasn't anything modern in the architectural sense. And so I am still wondering what Canada has to offer, or maybe they're still living in the dark ages in terms of architecture. You know, any big building, it takes too long to build, so it's still years and years and years behind. But no, overall, these were some pretty incredible places. This one I think is definitely my favorite. This one didn't really make sense. I can understand the clean lines, or I can appreciate the clean lines. I don't understand the massive acreage surrounding it and why you would bother to have all of that manicured, and why the pool is so far away from the house. And then otherwise we had this ugly thing. Look, I can appreciate the effort that went into building it, but I cannot appreciate the person that bought it. They just need to check themselves, I think, because unless it is a museum piece, there is no way I would ever consider buying such a thing. Look at it, it's too busy for the eyeballs. You can't look, you have to close your eyes every time you're around your house, and how are you going to get anywhere? That certainly doesn't sound like a very nice place to live. I mean, I guess the only thing I will give to the first one is the fact that it had just a massive acreage in the middle of, I guess, suburbia. You know, you've got all these pretty big houses and it's just dominating that. So I'll give them the fact that they somehow managed to acquire all that land and they didn't just develop the entire thing into, I guess, apartment blocks, because that is exactly what would have happened to this place if it was in Sydney. I'll give them that. And the fact that you can land not even a helicopter but an entire 747 on that piece of grass, hey, that's another bonus. But overall, I'm definitely taking this one. Is definitely the one for me, if nothing else just because of that pool. Even though it probably isn't that fancy overall, it's just a little bit of an infinity edge all the way around. I just like the idea, and I like its spot and its surrounding nature. They haven't cleared the whole thing, it's not just grass, and I don't have to worry about it. You can just let the trees grow. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then make sure to go check out any other ones I've done. Also, make sure to go check out the original video down in the description below, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.